Welcome to Reno's World Podcast. I'm your host, Reno Rains, ready to take you on another electrifying journey into the paranormal. Today, we're diving into the chilling tale of Hell House, the Beckwith family haunting. We'll explore the eerie history and spine-tingling events surrounding this infamous Connecticut mansion and uncover what makes it one of the most talked-about hauntings in recent memory. If you're ready for a mix of mystery, history, and a dash of modern paranormal excitement, hit that like button, follow along, and drop your thoughts and comments below. Let's get into it and experience the haunting world of Hell House together. In the fall of 1998, the Beckwith family believed they had found their sanctuary, a charming 19th century mansion nestled in the quiet, fog-wreathed town of Seymour, Connecticut. With ivy climbing the time-worn stone walls and a weathered gate that creaked ominously under even the gentlest breeze, the house promised a fresh start far away from the clamor of city life. But as the days grew shorter and the autumn chill deepened, unsettling whispers began to seep into the Beckwiths' new life. From the very first night, Bonnie Beckwith, the determined matriarch, sensed that their dream home concealed dark secrets. While her husband dismissed the odd creaks and shifting shadows as the natural quirks of an aged building, Bonnie felt a persistent, eerie presence that she could neither explain nor shake off. The unease was not hers alone. However, their children started to experience inexplicable disturbances. One cold October evening, as the wind howled through bare branches, Sarah, their perceptive eldest daughter, tossed restlessly in her bed, troubled by visions of a weeping woman with hollow eyes lingering in the dark corners of her room. In the hallway, their young son awoke from nightmares, trembling and whispering of a faceless man who stood by his window as if waiting. The house seemed alive with a malignant force, its history echoing in every creaking floorboard and every draft that swept coldly under closed doors. Within days, the family began to experience events that defied rational explanation. Doors swung open on their own, and inexplicable cold spots, chilling gusts of air that had nothing to do with broken windows, appeared in rooms bathed in warm light. One fateful night, while Bonnie was alone in the kitchen, she felt a sudden, frigid touch on her shoulder. When she spun around in terror, nothing was there, but the shadows on the walls seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Desperate for answers, Bonnie initiated an investigation into the history of the mansion. She discovered that the previous inhabitants had fled under mysterious circumstances and that local lore spoke of a malevolent presence bound to the house, an inhuman spirit that controlled several other restless entities. Tales passed down through generations mentioned not only forlorn ghosts, but also a sinister demon, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. It was a tale too dire for any ordinary resident to ignore. As the haunting escalated, Bonnie's fears grew. When the family's grandmother visited for a holiday dinner, she was startled to see in the reflection of a window not her own trembling face, but the figure of three distinct sorrowful apparitions approaching her. Words of warning and frantic pleas filled the air as the family realized that these were not mere figments of overactive imaginations, but the desperate voices of the long departed. Unable to endure the terror any longer, Bonnie reached out to renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Known for their work with the Amityville Horror and countless other cases of the unexplained, the Warrens arrived with their equipment, a motley array of cameras, audio recorders, and spiritual artifacts. They set about documenting every creak in the hallways, every whisper in the dead of night. The atmosphere in the house grew denser as the clock ticked toward midnight. It was as if the very fabric of reality weakened, and a dark portal to another realm was slowly prying open. That night, as the family camped together in the great living room for safety, the tension reached its zenith. The recorded images began to reveal something horrific, fleeting shadows darting past the walls, and inexplicable bursts of light that seemed to form grotesque faces. Then came the moment that would haunt them forever. A sudden, violent occurrence when an object hurled itself across the room, shattering a mirror into 1,000 tiny shards. In the chaos, Mr. Beckwith clutched a crucifix that inexplicably burned his hand, its searing pain a bitter reminder that the malevolent force they faced was not an ordinary ghost. As the Warrens delved deeper, it emerged that the demon, A creature not identified by any name, but known simply by its ferocity and cruelty, was the puppet master behind the other spirits. This darkness did not merely haunt the halls, it manipulated the very minds of the occupants, drawing on their fears and amplifying their despair. The Warrens' last investigations were punctuated by eerie EVP recordings, where a low, rumbling voice intoned urgent commands. One desperate night, during an intense exorcism session led by a local priest summoned for aid, the demon made its presence unambiguously known. A barrage of spectral faces and piercing shrieks filled the room, and the priest's incantations faltered in the weight of the evil before him. After several grueling sessions, exorcisms, cleansings, and spiritual interventions, the family managed to momentarily suppress the hauntings. The Warrens, along with a dedicated team of paranormal assistants, performed a final cleansing ritual that seemed to push the malevolent entities back into the darkness from whence they came. For a brief period, the Beckwiths returned to a semblance of normalcy, even daring to smile at the prospect of rebuilding their lives in a place that had once promised hope. Yet, like all things that arise from deep-rooted malice, the evil was not easily vanquished. Years later, as redevelopment crews unearthed ancient burial grounds near the mansion, whispers of renewed hauntings surfaced. The very earth seemed to remember the ancient sorrow and anger tied to those interred below, a grim reminder that some spirits, especially those bound by ancient curses or evil rituals, are not so easily laid to rest. In subsequent interviews, Bonnie recalled the terror with a voice quivering between sorrow and defiance. "I came into this house an atheist," she once said, "but I witnessed the powers of both God and the devil, and in that crucible of horror, I found a strength I never knew existed." The Beckwith family, forever marked by the ordeal, became local legends. Neighbors recalled ghostly lights flickering through unoccupied windows and the echo of anguished cries on stormy nights. Silent, unexplainable testimonies to what once dwelled within those cursed halls. While the account of the Beckwith family haunting is rendered here with meticulous detail and atmospheric dread, it is essential to step back and scrutinize the evidence presented. Eyewitness testimonies, such as those of Bonnie and her children, carry inherent subjective bias and are influenced by personal trauma and stress. Many reported phenomena, such as unexplained cold spots, fleeting shadows, and EVP recordings, can often be attributed to the quirks of an old building, environmental factors, or even psychological conditions exacerbated by pre-existing familial strife. Additionally, the intervention of notorious paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, though lending a degree of credence in popular culture, must be critically examined. Their methods and the reliability of their evidence have been called into question by skeptics and researchers alike, with alternative explanations ranging from electrical malfunctions to mass hysteria. The resurgence of hauntings following the disturbance of nearby burial grounds further complicates the narrative, as local legends often evolve over time and are shaped by cultural biases and an environment charged with expectation. In conclusion, while the detailed narrative of the Beckwith family's experience is richly atmospheric and compelling as a ghost story, a careful review of the evidence suggests that many aspects of the haunting could have alternative rational explanations. Based on the available information and the critical breakdown presented, the tale appears to be a mixture of genuine psychological distress, environmental peculiarities, and the embellishments of paranormal folklore, rather than incontrovertible evidence of an active demonic presence. Whether you believe in the supernatural or see this as a deeply tragic tale of a family haunted by both internal and environmental forces, the story of Hell House remains one of Connecticut's most enduring legends. A chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying specters may reside not only in the darkness of a haunted house, but in the memories of those who once called it home.